I used to believe that hard work was the only answer to every problem. If I failed, I told myself I hadn't worked hard enough. If a project stalled, I stayed up later. If a goal felt distant, I pushed myself until I was exhausted. I believed that persistence was a miracle that could overcome any obstacle. But one afternoon, while I was feeling discouraged and burnt out, I saw something that changed my entire understanding of effort. I was sitting in a garden, staring at a tall brick wall. The wall was at least 10 feet high. At the base of the wall, there was a small frog. He was no larger than an inch. I watched him for a moment, thinking he was just resting. Then he jumped. He threw his tiny body against the hard red brick. He reached perhaps 2 inches high before he fell back to the ground. He didn't pause. He didn't look around. He simply gathered his strength and jumped again, and again, and again. I watched him for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, that small frog gave everything he had to a goal that was physically impossible. He was persistent. He was determined. He was working harder than any other creature in that garden. But he was also failing, and he would continue to fail until his strength was gone, because he was ignoring the one thing that mattered more than his effort. Just 5 feet to his left, there was a wide, open garden gate. If he had paused for even 10 seconds, he would have seen it. If he had stopped jumping and looked at his surroundings, he would have found the path he was looking for. But he was so focused on the wall that he couldn't see the door. The myth of blind effort. We are often told that the secret to success is to never give up. We are told that if we keep jumping, the wall will eventually break. But some walls are 10 feet high, and we are only 1 inch tall. In my early career, I was like that frog. I believed that if I worked 16 hours a day, I would eventually become a leader. I believed that if I sent 1,000 emails, someone would eventually say yes. I ignored my health. I ignored my relationships. I ignored the quiet voice in my head that was telling me something was wrong. I thought that stopping to think was a sign of weakness. I thought that looking for an alternative was a form of quitting. I was proud of my exhaustion. I wore my burnout like a badge of honor. But I wasn't moving forward. I was just hitting the same brick wall over and over again. Blind effort is not a strategy. It is a form of hiding from the responsibility of thinking. It is easier to work hard than it is to admit that your method is failing. It is easier to stay busy than it is to ask whether you are going in the right direction. The frog wasn't being brave. He was being reactive. He was jumping because he didn't know what else to do. The high wall and the small frog. The wall in the garden was beautiful in its own way. It was made of old, weathered bricks. It was solid, immovable, and indifferent to the frog's struggle. The frog didn't hate the wall. He probably didn't even understand what it was. To him, it was just the thing in his way. I watched his tiny legs kick with everything he had. I watched the way he landed on the dirt, sometimes upside down, before righting himself for the next attempt. His persistence was incredible. If I were writing a children's story, I might say that on the 1,000th jump he finally reached the top. But this is not a children's story. In the real world, a 1-inch frog cannot jump over a 10-foot wall. No amount of mindset or belief will change the physics of that situation. The wall was not the problem. The problem was the frog's refusal to observe. He was so committed to his struggle that he had become blind to his opportunity. I realized that I was doing the same thing in my life. I was fighting against obstacles that didn't need to be fought. I was trying to force my way through situations that had a much simpler solution just a few feet away. I was so busy being determined that I had forgotten to be intelligent. The open door. The garden gate was wide enough for a person to walk through. It led directly to the other side of the wall. It was right there, in plain sight. Why didn't the frog see it? Because his eyes were fixed on the bricks directly in front of him. When we are in the middle of a struggle, our vision narrows. We focus on the immediate difficulty. We focus on the pain of the jump. We focus on the frustration of the fall. We stop looking at the horizon. We stop asking, is there another way? The door is often closer than we think. Maybe the door is a different career path. Maybe the door is a different way of communicating with your partner. Maybe the door is a different business model. Maybe the door is simply asking for help from someone who already has the key. But to find the door, you must first stop jumping. You must accept the temporary discomfort of standing still. You must allow yourself to look away from the wall. For many of us, that is the hardest part. We are afraid that if we stop jumping, we will lose our momentum. We are afraid that if we look for a door, people will think we are taking the easy way out. But the easy way is often the right way. There is no extra credit in life for doing things the hard way when a better way exists. The danger of grit. Without direction. Grit is a popular word these days. We admire people who can endure pain. We admire people who can keep going when everyone else has stopped. And grit is important. Without it, you will quit when things become difficult. But grit without direction is just a slow way to fail. If you are running in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how fast you are going. If you are digging a hole in the wrong place, it doesn't matter how deep it is. The frog had plenty of grit. He had more grit than I did. But his grit was leading him toward exhaustion, not toward the other side of the wall. I started to look at my own grit differently. Was I being persistent, or was I just being stubborn? Was I working hard because it was necessary, or because I was afraid to change my plan? I realized that I had spent years of my life jumping at walls. I had stayed in jobs that were a bad fit because I didn't want to be a quitter. I had continued using marketing strategies that didn't work because I had already invested so much time in them. I had tried to save relationships that were fundamentally broken because I believed that love conquers all. I was the frog, and I was tired of falling back into the dirt. The power of observation. The most successful people I know are not always the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who observe the most. They spend as much time looking for the gate as they do walking through it. Observation requires a different kind of effort. It requires you to be quiet. It requires you to be honest about your failures. It requires you to look at the wall and admit that you cannot jump over it. When I finally stopped jumping at my own walls, I began to see doors everywhere. I realized that a 10-minute conversation with an expert was more valuable than 10 hours of guessing. I realized that a small change in my daily routine was more effective than a massive burst of willpower once a month. I realized that sometimes the best way to move forward is to take 2 steps to the left. Observation is the bridge between effort and results. It allows you to apply your energy where it actually matters. It turns blind persistence into strategic progress. The frog didn't need more strength. He needed a new perspective. Finding your own garden gate. How do you know if you're jumping at a wall? Look at your results. If you have been doing the same thing for a long time and the wall hasn't moved, it might be time to stop jumping. Ask yourself these 3 questions. First, is this goal physically and logically possible with my current method? Second, am I so focused on the struggle that I have stopped looking for alternatives? Third, what would I do if I knew there was a door just 5 feet away? These questions are not an invitation to quit. They are an invitation to succeed. Finding the gate is not cheating. It is the highest form of responsibility. It is your job to find the most effective path to your goal. If you are a business owner, maybe your wall is a product that no one wants. Stop jumping at it. Look for the door, the thing your customers actually need. If you are a student, maybe your wall is a study method that isn't working. Stop jumping. Look for the door, a different way of learning the material. If you are an artist, maybe your wall is a style that doesn't feel like you. Stop jumping. Look for the door, your own authentic voice. The gate is there. It is always there. but you will never see it as long as you are hitting the bricks. The CEO and the frog. Today, I run a technology company. I still work hard. I still value persistence, but I no longer value blind effort. When a project is failing, I don't tell my team to just work harder. I tell them to stop. I tell them to look at the wall. I tell them to find the door. We spend time analyzing our data. We talk to our users. We look at what our competitors are doing. We look for the path of least resistance that leads to the best result. Some people might call this working smart. I call it not being a frog. I still think about that afternoon in the garden. I never saw the frog find the gate. When I left, he was still jumping. He was still falling. He was still convinced that his next jump would be the one that changed everything. I hope he eventually stopped. I hope he looked to his left. I hope he saw the wide, open path leading to the green grass on the other side. But I know that many people never do. They spend their whole lives jumping at 10-foot walls. They die exhausted, proud of their grit, but never having seen the other side. Don't be that person. The wall is not your destiny. The door is your opportunity. The lesson for the international learner. For those of you who are learning English or any new skill, this lesson is vital. Maybe you have been studying grammar rules for years, but you still can't speak. That grammar book is your wall. You are jumping at it, hoping that one day you will suddenly become fluent. But fluency is not on top of the wall. It is through the door. The door might be listening to real conversations. The door might be speaking with a partner, even if you make mistakes. The door might be watching movies without subtitles. If your current method isn't working, stop jumping. Look for a different way to learn. Observe how successful learners actually achieve their goals. Do not be proud of how many hours you have spent studying if those hours haven't led to results. Be proud of your ability to change your strategy. Be proud of your ability to find the gate. Life is too short to spend it hitting bricks. Effort is a precious resource. Do not waste it on impossible jumps. The next time you feel stuck, take a breath. Step back from the wall. Look to your left. Look to your right. Somewhere nearby there is a gate. It might not look like what you expected. It might require you to walk in a different direction for a while, but it is the only way to the other side. Stop jumping. Start observing. Find your door. Lessons from the story. The first lesson is that persistence without observation is a trap. Working hard at a failing method only leads to exhaustion, not success. The second lesson is that our vision narrows when we are in a struggle. We become so focused on the obstacle that we miss the obvious opportunity nearby. The third lesson is that stopping to think is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strategic intelligence. The fourth lesson is that the easy way is often the right way. Seeking a more effective path is a responsibility, not a shortcut. The fifth lesson is that grit must be directed. Enduring pain is only valuable if it is moving you toward a meaningful goal. The sixth lesson is that observation is a skill that must be practiced. It requires quiet, honesty, and the willingness to admit when a method is failing. The seventh lesson is that the gate is often closer than we think, but we must be willing to look away from the wall to find it. Natural English expressions from the story. 1. Blind effort is not a strategy. Use this to challenge someone who is working hard but not seeing results. 2. Stop jumping at the wall. A metaphor for stopping a failing method and looking for a better way. 3. Is there another way? A simple but powerful question to ask when you feel stuck. 4. Look for the path of least resistance. Use this when you want to find the most efficient way to achieve a goal. 5. Grit without direction is just exhaustion. A reminder that endurance alone isn't enough. 6. Fluency is through the door, not on top of the wall. A specific application for language learners. 7. The easy way is often the right way. A challenge to the idea that things must be difficult to be valuable. 8. Don't be a frog. A shorthand for avoiding blind persistence. 9. Pause and observe. The first step toward finding a better strategy. 10. Find your garden gate. A metaphor for finding your unique path to success. Reflection. Exercise. Wall versus gate. Identify one area of your life where you feel stuck. The wall. What is the specific obstacle you have been fighting against? How long have you been jumping at it? The effort. How much energy are you spending? Are you exhausted? The gate. If you stopped jumping today and looked around, what is one alternative path you might see? Is there a simpler way to reach the other side? Write down one strategic change you will make this week. Do not just promise to work harder. Promise to work differently.